Getting you some breaking news now. Karnataka Governor T. Gehlot has given his consent to Karnataka Protection of Rights to Freedom of Religion Ordinance 2022. So the anti-conversion bill that has been a bone of contention in Karnataka has gotten a nod from the governor in the state, and T. Gehlot has given his consent to the ordinance. Remember, the government in Karnataka has moved, the ordinance had taken the ordinance route when it comes to the movement and passage of this particular anti-conversion bill, and now a nod there from the governor in the state. My colleague Neha Hebale joins me for more on this. Neha, big development that's coming in from Karnataka. The government had already taken the ordinance route, and now a consent there by the governor.
Well, that's absolutely right. And, even as there are talks right now about this contentious anti-conversion bill, the Karnataka governor over here, Thawar Gehlot, has given his assent. Let's remind our viewers that it was only one day ago, it was only yesterday, that we saw the Archbishop of Bengaluru, Peter Machado, as well as a delegation, in fact, that had sort of raised opposition to this, proposed bill over here. And also now, we'd actually seen how they had gone on to meet the governor. The delegation had met the governor and actually requested him not to give his assent. That now, of course, the assent has been given, and we're seeing that, as the assembly session now comes up again, likely that this would be brought into force. Now, it's important over here to mention as to why there's been so much of, opposition on ground. There's been protests that we've seen against this bill. It's just merely because, now certain communities over here do feel that they're likely to be targeted more by some, by some outfits over here. So that's precisely why. But, sort of to quickly stop. Bill basically just aims at ensuring that, again, the bill, of course, the protection of right to freedom of religion and prohibition of unlawful conversion. So that's precisely going to be what this bill is aiming at, to ensure that there's no unlawful conversion from one religion to another, either by force or by influence or by coercion. So, we'll, of course, have to wait and see an impact this actually has on ground, but a huge decision over here coming in right now from the state of Karnataka.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Neha, for joining us with all the details there. Also joining me on the broadcast is Mr. John Dayal. Mr. Dayal, how do you see this fresh development? Because like my colleague Neha Hebale was mentioning, how the anti-conversion bill has been a bone of contention. It has actually seen a lot of protests in the entire state of Karnataka. The government taking the ordinance route, and now a consent there by the governor.
It is not a bone of contention. It is the sword of Damocles, because it empowers hate mongers, it empowers mobs, it empowers killers, it empowers political forces that want to polarize the community. There is not a single aspect of the thing which protects the freedom of religion, which encourages religion, which encourages values. If you go to the bill, there is, first of all, there's no statistical data by the state or in fact in the country to say that they are fraudulent conversions, that they are forcible conversions. In fact, the only forcible conversions are by the Sangha Parivar in Garvapsi, when they use bows and arrows and swords and force Dalits to become Hindus. There is not a single Christian or a single Muslim in the last 200 years who has converted anybody by use of force. It is impossible. The police force is Hindu. The collectorate is Hindu. The politicians are Hindu. How the hell will anybody convert anybody by use of force?
Right. Mr. Dayal, thank you so much for joining us and actually giving your 2 cents about what you feel about this development that's coming to light from Karnataka. Remember, this is the latest development that we are breaking for our viewers. Now, the Karnataka governor, T. Gehlot, has given his consent to Karnataka Protection of Right to Freedom of Religion Ordinance 2022. That's the anti-conversion law that is given a consent by the governor in the state.